Businesses have realized how important human psychology really is, and throughout history, they've been using psychology to trick you into spending more money. In this video, I'll be giving you 5 ways in which businesses use psychology to trick us all into spending more. Be sure to watch to the end of this video, as number 5 gets a lot of us to waste our money on random stuff quite easily. So the first way that businesses get us to spend more money is by using anchoring. Some of you might have heard of anchoring before, but it's basically a business technique, and it's based on the fact that us humans use what we've experienced in the past to determine the value of a new stimulus. So imagine this scenario: you walk into a dress or suit shop and an employee immediately greets you asking you, "How can I help you?" like they usually do. When you tell this employee what you're actually looking for, they'll then proceed to lead you to the most expensive item in the shop that matches your description. So now you're looking at a price tag that's pretty damn hefty, maybe about £1,000 for a suit or a dress or whatever. Remember, this is like a dress or suit shop. I'm just reminding you because maybe you forgot in the past 10-20 seconds. Because you've now seen this really expensive item, everything else in the shop is going to seem relatively cheap when compared to that first item. So now you're actually more likely to spend more money than if you weren't shown that really expensive item in the first place. Now, this principle of anchoring can be applied to a lot of different situations. So another example of how businesses use anchoring would be when you see an item that's on a discount. Maybe you're looking at a t-shirt that used to be £150, but now it's half price and it's only 80 quid, which seems like a huge steal. But sometimes businesses just say they have a discount, but in reality this item of clothing is actually 80 quid. And they just say that it used to be 160 quid, which makes you a lot more likely to buy it. So remember, when you walk into a shop, be sure that you're not looking at the most expensive item first, because that can really skew your judgment of the prices of everything else, and then you might end up spending more money. Now, the second way that businesses use psychology to make us spend more money is by using the principle of reciprocation. Now, it's a very natural thing for us to feel like we owe someone when someone gives us something. So if your friend lets you borrow 50 quid, you now feel like you owe him something, and most of the time we'll just pay them back with another 50 quid. We'll pay them back with what they gave us. But in some cases, we might be given a gift, and now we feel obliged to give something back to that person, even though they've given you something for free. But nothing's really free. Unless you're a sociopath, you probably feel obligated to this person now. You feel like you want to give them something back in return for giving you that free present or gift or whatever it is that they gave you. Businesses exploit this feeling of having to owe someone something of value after receiving something of value. And they do this in a number of ways. The most obvious way that businesses do this is that they offer you freebies. There's this really nice pretzel place in my local city centre where sometimes there's just an employee giving out free samples on a tray, and they are really freaking nice. Like, it's not a lot, it's like this much of a free sample, and the pretzel is about like this big. And sure, you can take a free sample and then just walk away, right? But sometimes when you weren't even planning on buying a pretzel, you've now ate some, and maybe you feel like you want more because it's food or whatever. But another reason that you might be compelled to buy this pretzel is because of that innate feeling that you need to give something back because you've received something. So you're a lot more likely to now go and buy this pretzel. And the thing is, you might not even buy the pretzel on that day that you take the free sample. Maybe the next week you'll remember that pretzel was really nice and you will buy one because you were initially given that free sample. I understand that there's a lot of different factors, such as the factor that the food might just be really nice, you might simply be craving it, but the other factor that you would have given a freebie and now you feel like you owe them something also applies here. A lot of the things that we do as human beings is based off of subconscious thoughts and behaviors. Like, a lot of the time we don't really know why we do something, but we just rationalize it and give some other explanation for why we're doing something. Psychology. Can you tell that I'm a psychology student? Is it obvious? Is it showing? Am I sweating? Moving on. One other way that businesses exploit this reciprocation is a bit more sneaky. Sometimes when you're trying to bargain for a price, you might be offered with a price that you do not like the look of. Let's say they tell you you can get this thing for 200 quid, and then obviously you say no because it's not within your budget, and then they're like, alright, how about 160? Will you buy it now? Now again, that anchoring principle comes in because 160 quid looks a lot cheaper than 200, but at the same time there's also this nuance of a concession. And by that I mean that they forfeited their initial offer and they took a step back to increase the value of this deal for you. And now because they've taken this step back for you, it feels like they're doing you a favor. So now it's likely that you will feel like you need to do them a favor, which is to agree with the new price that they've now offered you. I understand that this might sound a bit far-fetched, but this is simply how people work. Because back in the primal days, when someone gave us something and we didn't offer the same amount of value back to them, they'd probably want to beat the shit out of us. And back then they could, because we were in tribes. If the tribe gives you a bunch of food and then you just lie in bed all day doing nothing for the tribe, they'll probably kick you out. Hence why we feel this innate feeling that we need to offer the same amount of value back to people who give us value so that we can be accepted by everyone, and so people don't pick fights with us because we didn't give them something, because they feel like we're being unfair not giving them something back when they did. And that is a bit of evolutionary psychology for you guys. I would say that it was explained in simple terms, but was that really simple? Probably not. I'm just waffling at this point. Anyways, moving on to the next point. Now, the third way that businesses get us to spend more money is by taking advantage of our sense of commitment to things or something or anything. Just commitment. I mean, commitment in general is pretty scary, right? So there's something in sales called the lowball technique. Imagine you walk into a car dealership and obviously you want to buy a new car, and the salesman takes you to this car that's way out of your budget, but they offer you an amazing deal on it that's a bit too good to resist. So now you're looking at this price and it is in your budget. You're like, wow, I need to buy this car because this car is worth this amount and now it's worth this amount. Again, anchoring comes into play here. Anchoring is used a lot by businesses just because it works so well. So now you've mentally committed to buying this car. But later on in the deal, when you're signing the papers to say that you will actually buy this car, there are hidden fees that are revealed to you that makes the price of this car pretty much back to what it initially was. So now the price is out of your budget once again. But because you've mentally committed to it already, you are a lot more likely to just accept the new price and buy the car even though it's out of your budget, simply because you've mentally committed to buying it and you've told yourself, I'm gonna buy this car. Now, why do we do this? Well, it's quite simple really. When we've committed to something, we like to see it through so that we can be congruent to what we commit to. But this car example is a very obvious example of how they abuse our sense of commitment to things. Another example of how they utilize our commitment to things is in something that's called a funnel. You might have heard of this concept before. What might happen in a funnel is you might be asked to join a mailing list. So now you're getting weekly reports or newsletters from this business. And in those weekly reports, they offer some cheap products. And because you see this mailing list so often and the mailing list provides you with some value, again, we're here with the reciprocation because they're giving you value and you now feel like you should give back. But because you see this mailing list so much and you see these products, you might want to buy one of their products now. Maybe they sell pen. And once you buy this pen, you'll be getting more offers in your emails because you're signed up to this mailing list. And maybe there's like a more expensive premium pen. Then now you're like, hey, maybe I should buy that too. Because you've already bought a pen from them before and it was pretty good. And you've already joined the mailing list before and hey, that seemed to be quite useful to you. So because you initially committed to joining this mailing list, your perception of yourself and what kind of things you will buy has now changed. And by buying that initial pen, you're now more likely to buy from this company again, even if it's a more expensive product. And it's this chain of commitment that keeps us in this funnel of that business. So I hope that makes sense how this funnel thing works, because like a funnel is like this, right? And then at the top here is the mailing list, and then it's the inexpensive product, and then it's the premium product, and then it's the customer for life. Once you've committed a lot of your time and effort into buying this company's products, you're now a lot more likely to be a loyal customer. A great example of this is Apple. We committed to buying our first ever iPhone, and then the product is pretty good, so we're like, okay, I'll buy another one. And once you're so deep in commitment with this brand, you might never even think of buying a phone that's not an Apple phone. Because when we commit to things, it actually changes how we perceive ourselves and the type of person that we are. Like, am I the type of person to buy Apple products? Well, yeah, it seems that I am, because I bought the iPhone 5 a few years ago. So maybe I'll buy their iPhone 8 this year. Be careful about what commitments you make in terms of the time that you spend and in terms of the money that you spend. Because hey, it will actually change how you perceive yourself, which is actually a pretty significant thing. Anyways, moving on. Before we move on to tip number 4, if you've enjoyed the video so far, or if you've learned anything new, remember to hit that like button. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. So the fourth way in which businesses use psychology to trick us into spending more money is by utilizing social proof. What happens a lot is that we see our favorite celebrities endorsing certain products, because obviously they've been paid by the business to say, hey, this product is really good. And yes, this is pretty much a sponsorship, right? But the reason that businesses pay so much for someone who has a large following to promote their products and to tell their audience, hey, I like this product, is because we want to be like our favorite celebrities or whoever your role model is. And when you see your role model using this product and telling you that it's good, you're definitely more likely to buy it. We humans look around us and we see all of these people that we like buying these things, so we decide, hey, I should buy that too, because this person is really cool and I want to be really cool, so I'm gonna do what they're doing, or I'm gonna buy what they're talking about. Bam, you spent your money, because businesses understand how to market their products. Another popular way for businesses to endorse their product by using social proof is just by getting a ton of random people to give good reviews about the product. Have you seen those adverts where regular people endorse the products and say that, hey, it was good, it worked for me, and now I really trust this brand because they are awesome? Because we see these ordinary people buying this product, and for the majority of us, we consider ourselves to also be ordinary, and because this person has said that the product is good, we're like, okay, maybe the product will actually be good, because we can relate to these people who are reviewing the product because they're completely normal, just like all of us. And it's weird because we kind of understand that we'll probably buy something if someone else says that it's good, and we also understand that the business is probably paying these people to say it, but we're actually still more likely to buy the product simply because of how the human brain works. It's freaking weird. We're just really stupid, like low-key. The subconscious mind is a huge... it's confusing, man. Like, why are people like this? I don't know. We're like completely irrational beings. We like to think that we're rational, but we're just not. So keep this in mind the next time you see Jeff from your city saying that a certain brand of shoe is really nice and helps him jog better. I don't know. Moving on to the fifth and final way that businesses trick us into spending more money, and that is by using scarcity. How many times have we seen a product that really appeals to us, but then we realize it's only out for a limited time and we can only buy it within the next week, and then we proceed to desperately get our money and buy that product because it's only out for the next week. This very tactic is what causes hype beasts to exist. And it's not only scarcity of product releases, it's also scarcity on deals. Maybe you see a deal that's like Spotify is only £2 right now for the next 3 months if you buy it right now this week. And maybe you look at this deal, you're like, wow, that is amazing. I need to spend my money right now. And sure, it's only £2, right? But it gets you onto the platform of Spotify. And now that you're there, you're a lot more likely to just stay and keep paying your deposits until the end of time because you've now joined Spotify and maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Sometimes you might forget to cancel the subscription after those 3 months. And most of the time, because we've committed to that platform already for 3 months and because we've committed to that deal, commitment, guys. Because we've committed to that deal, we're more likely to say, hey, I've done it before. I'll just continue to buy the subscription at its usual base price now because, hey, I kind of like this platform. And yeah, I mean, I've been on the platform for 3 months now. Right? Yeah, this is combining the scarcity principle with the commitment principle, which is a bit more advanced, I guess. But all of these 5 tricks that businesses use interweave into each other to make one cohesive marketing strategy for the business. Because let's be honest, they know how to make us spend our money because, hey, humans are dumb for the most part. We like to think that we're smart, but we're not, all right? Just deal with it. When none of us are 0%. We are stupid. Do you remember that all of these 5 ways that businesses use psychology to trick us into spending more money are all very closely intertwined, and a lot of the time we'll find marketing strategies that use at least 2 of these concepts to get us to splash our cash on things that we don't really need. But we feel like we need them at the time because of these marketing strategies, these psychology tricks. Psychology is important, guys. It's also a science. Debatable? Let's have that debate in the comments. Is psychology actually a science? By the way, this video took a lot of inspiration from Robert Cialdini's Influencer Psychology of Persuasion, so if you want to get that book, I'd really recommend it. If you have enjoyed this video or you have learned something new, remember to hit that like button. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, which I really don't understand how it works, but please give me the like.
Like it now.
And subscribe to my channel, Luther's Online, where I make more videos like this one. I'm trying to post every Saturday, so remember that. New videos every Saturday. Maybe. Thanks for making it to the end of the video, and this has been Luther, and here's your reminder to never stop learning. Peace out.